Imagine this. You're driving home late from your night shift. It's dark. You're tired, but you feel safe. Why? Because you know the police patrol is out there. You trust them. You believe they're protecting you. What if I told you that the person you trusted the most was actually hunting you? What if the uniform was just a costume and the smile was nothing more than a carefully crafted mask? In a world where the lines between a hero and a victim are often blurred, the story of Evelyn Reed stands as a powerful testament to the human spirit's capacity for courage. Evelyn, the central character of a harrowing tale of betrayal and resilience, was not a hero in the conventional sense. She was a woman with a past, someone who had faced her own share of struggles and vulnerabilities. Yet it was precisely these qualities which society so often uses to dismiss individuals that became the very foundation of her extraordinary strength. Evelyn's journey began with a moment of profound betrayal. When Officer Sterling Hayes, a man who had built his reputation on trust and community, turned his badge into a weapon against her, Evelyn found herself at a terrifying crossroads. The silence that followed such an act is a cycle that countless victims have been trapped in. A silence born from shame, fear, and the paralyzing belief that no one will listen. For Evelyn, this silence was compounded by the societal prejudice she knew she would face. She was not the perfect victim that the legal system so often demands. The very system designed to protect her was, in a chilling twist of irony, more likely to believe the polished lie of a man in uniform than the painful truth of a woman with a past. The man's name was Sterling Hayes, and to the people of Liberty Heights, he was more than just a cop. He was a pillar of the community. Picture him broad-shouldered, a friendly smile, a laugh that could fill a room. He was the kind of officer who would get out of his patrol car not to issue a ticket, but to help a single mom change a flat tire. He'd walk into local barbershops and high-five the kids, calling them by name. He was an officer who understood that true law enforcement wasn't just about crime, it was about connection. My personal belief is that this was no accident. This was a meticulously crafted persona, a flawless mask designed to disarm an entire community. He knew that if he could convince you he was one of the good guys, you would never see the monster lurking just beneath the surface. To those on the outside, Hayes was a decorated officer, a true professional. To those on the inside of his world, he was a predator with a badge. He wasn't some random criminal. He was an expert in psychological manipulation. He didn't pick his victims randomly. He chose them based on a terrifyingly simple formula: those with minor legal issues, a history with the system, or simply those who seemed to have no one else in their corner. He believed their voices were too faint to ever be heard above the noise of a world that had already judged them. He would pull them over under false pretenses, using his authority not to enforce the law, but to enforce his will. This is the ultimate betrayal, a wolf in sheep's clothing, using his badge not to protect, but to hunt. This story isn't just about a bad cop. It's about the poison that spreads when we place blind trust in a broken system. The real crime here was a silent, slow erosion of a community's faith. The cycle of fear and abuse might have continued forever if not for a single act of defiance. My personal belief is that the courage of one person can be more powerful than the silence of many. Her name was Evelyn Reed, and she was the kind of person the system was designed to overlook. She had a past, a history that many would use to dismiss her. After Officer Hayes pulled her over and assaulted her, she was faced with a suffocating choice: stay silent and live with the shame, or speak up and face a world that would almost certainly dismiss her. Her internal monologue was a battle. "Who am I to challenge a police officer?" she must have thought. "They'll say I'm lying. They'll look at my record and say I got what I deserved." But she made the call, and in that moment she did something incredibly brave. She broke the silence. The initial police response was far from a triumph. An internal affairs detective, Sergeant Wallace, took the call. He was a jaded veteran, a man who had seen countless cases like this come across his desk, he said-she said scenario destined to go nowhere. But something about Evelyn's story, a specific street name, a unique timestamp, nagged at him, a tiny detail that just didn't add up. When he looked at the case file, there was nothing. No report from Officer Hayes. It was as if the incident never happened. My personal opinion is that this was the first crack in the wall, a small but critical detail that began to unravel the entire deception. It proved that Officer Hayes had something to hide, and it was enough to make Sergeant Wallace take a second look. Sergeant Wallace, driven by that nagging doubt, decided to dig deeper. He found the key piece of forensic evidence, the GPS data from Officer Hayes's patrol car. My personal take is that technology can be a cold and impartial witness, and in this case, it was a silent avenger. He painted a vivid and chilling picture on his screen, a digital trail of a predator's hunt. On a map, a series of red dots traced a pattern of deviation from his patrol route, all matching the time and location of Evelyn's testimony. It was irrefutable, cold hard data. This evidence created a domino effect of courage. When the news of the investigation broke, other women, seeing a glimmer of hope, started coming forward. Their stories, once whispered in shame, now became a powerful chorus. My personal observation is that they became a powerful testament to the predator's calculated strategy. He had targeted them based on their vulnerabilities, but in coming together they turned their weaknesses into their greatest strength. They formed a sisterhood of survivors, their collective stories weaving a tapestry of truth that was far more powerful than any individual account could have been. Their bravery showed that even the most well-protected corruption can't withstand the light of a united front. The courtroom was a crucible, a stage where the battle for truth was fought, not with fists, but with words and evidence. This is the moment I believe the true fight for justice takes place. Officer Hayes's defense team, as expected, launched a fierce campaign to dismantle the women's credibility. They tried to use the victims' pasts, their struggles, their histories as a weapon against them, attempting to portray them as liars. But the prosecutor, a sharp and empathetic woman named Ms. Davis, had a powerful rebuttal. She argued that the uncanny consistency in the women's separate stories, the same phrases used by Officer Hayes, the same threats, the same predatory pattern, was proof of a systematic pattern of abuse. The GPS data was a silent but powerful witness. My personal belief is that the real turning point wasn't a dramatic piece of evidence, but the undeniable humanity of the survivors. They stood tall and told their truths, and their collective testimony was a force that no lawyer could discredit. The jury saw a pattern of evil, not a series of individual lies. The verdict was a seismic shock that resonated far beyond the courtroom. Officer Hayes was convicted on multiple counts, including several of sexual assault, and sentenced to a staggering prison term. My personal opinion is that this sentence wasn't just a punishment. It was a monumental message. It was a resounding declaration that a badge doesn't grant a license to abuse power. The aftermath was profound. The verdict spurred national conversations about police reform, the urgent need for better oversight, and the importance of believing survivors. We bring the story full circle. Keisha Williams, the young mother from the beginning who once trusted Officer Hayes, now volunteers for a community oversight committee. Her faith in the system broken, but her resolve to fix it stronger than ever. The story of Alara and the other survivors is a powerful reminder that justice, even when delayed, can be achieved through courage and community. The end of one story is often the beginning of a larger movement. True justice is about building a world where stories like this never have to be told again. Yet it was in this very moment of despair that Evelyn performed the most audacious act of her life. She made the call. This was not a simple phone call. It was a defiant declaration that her voice mattered. Her action was the first crack in the wall of deception that Officer Hayes had so meticulously built. Legal experts would later describe her initial complaint as the first domino, machin, the singular event that set in motion a chain of events leading to a monumental verdict. Evelyn's bravery in breaking the silence proved to be the most crucial piece of evidence in the entire case. It was the initial tremor that led to the earthquake. The lasting legacy of Evelyn Reed is not just that she brought a criminal to justice, but that she redefined what it means to be a hero. Her courage was not the absence of fear, but the unwavering decision to act in spite of it. She transformed her vulnerability into a powerful force for change, not just for herself, but for a sisterhood of survivors who found the strength to come forward because of her example. Her story is a poignant reminder that justice is not a passive gift. It is an active pursuit. It is built on the shoulders of individuals who, against all odds, refuse to be silenced. In the end, Evelyn's story is a profound lesson for all of us. It teaches us to look beyond the surface, to question the unquestionable, and to listen to the voices that society has chosen to ignore. Evelyn Reed's courage in a single, desperate moment of her life created a ripple effect of hope that resonated throughout a community, a legal system, and countless lives. She proved that even the smallest voice, when empowered by truth and defiance, can become a symphony of justice. What is the most profound lesson you've learned from a story of injustice? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story moved you, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your support helps us continue to bring these critical conversations to light.